Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Susan, and it is around 10:15-ish. I used to, when I first started doing lives, like I would wait and for 10:15 and like do the countdown, and now I just kind of look at the clock and figure out it's an around about 10:15. So I want to say good morning, Mary, good morning, Sabrina. Robin probably will kick on because she's usually here. So when you get on, Robin, hi to you too. So I entitled this Without Any Question, and I am talking about freedom this morning. So, I was writing earlier this week, and I don't often go into my past and how God set me free, and really, to be honest, the biggest reason is because I don't think of it. I don't live in that. I don't live in the past. I don't live in that place where I came from, because my life has been so transformed by Jesus that I don't even look back at that time, and I don't want to say wallow. Like, I just don't think on it. But sometimes there are things that come up, or there's things that God has me do that brings that up, and it brings it to the point where I remember the things that God has done for me. And, sometimes it's so easy just to forget and get into this like every day's the same kind of thing, that we forget how Jesus miraculously set us free and put us on a different path. And so I was writing my story this week about how I came to know Christ and the things that Jesus set me free from. And it has just started this thinking all week of just his power and his grace and all that he has done, not only in my life, but the lives around me. And I was just remembering just his, like, the beauty of getting saved and coming to know Jesus. So in a quick, I'm going to shorten it down, is that I was lost. I was 17, almost turning 18. My life was a mess. Like, when I say it was a mess, I mean, I was in a psych ward. I mean, that's the kind of mess I was in. I mean, I had stopped going to school. I was doing things that I shouldn't. Here, I'll just leave it at that. G-rated in case my kids ever watch this. But I was doing all the things that us parents tell our kids never to do. I was doing probably 95% of those things. And it just spiraled, and it was in a situation where I was out of control. And I can remember I was in this, it was at the City of Faith in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I was there for 3 months, and I can remember the whole 3 months, I was so angry and I was so mad. I was so mad at the circumstances that brought me to where I was. I was so angry about all that I had lost. And, I didn't just like wake up one day and decide to be a loser. Like, there were things that happened that put me on a path that I lost hope in Jesus. I lost hope in myself. I lost hope in the ability that my life could change. I lost hope to wake up in the morning. And I got to the point where I didn't want to live. I didn't want to go on. I was so angry. I was so mad. I was mad at God. I was mad at my mom. I was mad at my dad. I was mad at my brothers and sisters. I was mad at my friends. I was mad at the school. I was just angry. I was so angry. And I can remember like the time that I was in the hospital, and I did things like I slammed doors, I punched people, I punched a nurse, and she kind of deserved it, but that's a whole other story. But but I did all these things that I was acting out. I was so angry, and I didn't know how to get my life back on track. And really, I now have come to realize that I couldn't get my life back on track. It was only Jesus, and it was only his power, and it was only his intervention that changed my life completely around. And I can remember I got a pass to go with my mom to church one morning, and I was sitting in this huge arena in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I was sitting there, and Billy Joe Doherty was giving an altar call, and he was talking about this hope of Jesus, how that he wants to set us free. He wants to set us free from our background, our past, our shortcomings, our sin, our failure, our depression, our anxiety, and all of these things. Like, Jesus wants to take it all. And I can remember just like this spark of hope coming in to my life. And at the same time, like, my mom is sitting next to me. And so, I was very rebellious. And so I knew my mom was praying for me. And so I didn't really want to give in to her and be like, all right, I'm going to try this Jesus thing. But after a while, I got over my pride and I got humble. I got humbled because I realized in that moment that my life was completely out of control and that I had spiraled in a place that I couldn't get back on track all by myself. Like, I needed help, and I needed to be set free. I needed to be set free from the things that the enemy had brought into my life, that I had grabbed hold of, and that was holding me bound and holding me captive. And so I can remember raising my hand to accept Christ, and then, oh my goodness, I was mortified because we're like, and it's in a huge auditorium, and I'm up in these like stadium seatings, and I'm up there, and like he said, of course, like, come down to the front. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to come down in the front. And so I sat there for a few minutes, and I thought, oh my goodness, all of these people are going to know, but since I was from New England and I was in Tulsa, I figured that nobody knew who I was. So I got up and I walked down one set of stairs, had to go around outside the main auditorium and go around and then go down a whole nother big flight of stairs just to go down to the front. And I can remember like just raising my hands and someone coming and praying for me, and like that was it. Like, all right, shalom, go home. And I can remember being like, okay, that's it. Like, I thought that I was going to have this miraculous intervention, maybe fly on the floor. I have no idea what I was expecting, but I thought it was going to be like a more dramatic intervention from Jesus. But really what I didn't know was that there was a seed planted that day that would begin to grow, and not grow slowly over years. I'm talking about that would be watered and would grow immediately, that there would be fruit, there would be things in my life that would change. And no, did it all happen? Like, did I snap my fingers and become a totally different person? No. That process has taken years and will continue to take years. But I know that day that God set me free by giving me the power to overcome any addiction, He gave me the power to overcome anything that had held me bound. And yes, I had to take steps to grab hold of that freedom. But at the same time, I knew that day that the Holy Spirit came in me and empowered me to break the pattern of sin in my life. And so this morning, of course, like, I get choked up, but I'm doing good today. So I was really hoping that I wouldn't like start crying on this Facebook Live. But when I think back of that time in my life, and I think about how that one decision to walk down that enormous flight of stairs and to walk down and to humble myself and to actually kill that rebellion in me and allow my mom to see me walk down those stairs to give my heart to Christ, that I know that one decision completely set me on a different path. And it was a path towards freedom. And it was a path of hope and restoration. And it was something that was in me. And yes, there are times that the enemy has come and said, you won't be free. You'll never get over this. You'll always struggle with this. You'll always deal with alcohol. You'll always deal with wanting men to validate you. You'll always be a people pleaser. You'll always be depressed or angry or frustrated, or like the enemy comes with always and never. You'll never be who God says you are. You'll never have freedom. But I'm going to tell you this, all right, that John 8:36 says, so who the Son sets free is free indeed. And the term indeed, what it says is without without a question, without any doubt. Without any doubt, you are free. Without any doubt, I am free. That doesn't mean that we won't battle sin, but it does mean that Jesus will give us and empower us to overcome any temptation. And you know, sometimes we put God on a human time frame. Like we think we mess up, we sin, we fall short, we do something that we shouldn't be doing. And we think, oh my goodness, it's going to take a really, really long time to get back to where I was before. That we think, okay, I was on fire for God, I struggled with sin, and now I find myself 20 steps backwards to where I was. But I'm telling you this, that it takes a moment. It takes a moment of rededication. It takes a moment of complete surrender for God to put you back on that path. And it doesn't take years to get where you were. It doesn't take a long period of time to acquire that freedom. It's the moment we surrender that situation to God, the moment we ask the Lord to heal us, to set us free, to forgive us, to set us on a different path. He is faithful to do those things. He is faithful to empower us to overcome that situation. He is faithful. There is not any situation in your life. There isn't any marriage. There isn't any child. There isn't any job or friendship that God can't come in and redeem. That He can't come in and put His stamp of like, this is what I desire for your life. This is what I design for you, that He cannot do and bring miraculous things into your life. So I'm saying today, like, let this be your phrase that you say today, that He has set you free and I am free indeed, that you are free. Like, don't look at your circumstances and think, wow, this is as good as it gets. I say that sometimes, about like my morning, like if I don't shower and I don't put makeup on and then I end up at the last minute having to go somewhere and I see someone know, I'm like, yeah, this is called as good as it gets. But that's not how we have to look at our circumstances. Our circumstances, this isn't as good as it gets, because when we allow God to come in and we allow Him to move in our lives and we surrender these situations to Him, He completely transforms it, and step by step and moment by moment, it gets better. It gets better. I'm not saying it's not going to be hard, because it will be hard. Like, there are times marriage will be hard. There are times our little like sinful children will push every button we have to push, and it will be hard. But I'm telling you that as we grab on to the hope of Jesus, He will empower us to do the things day to day in our lives that we can only do with Him. So I don't know what you're struggling with. I don't know what you're dealing with, what depression has on you, what the enemy has spoken over you today, but I declare that you are free indeed, and that is without any question. So I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Catherine, I have different earrings in. I am going to mail your earrings. Thank you for watching. You're my favorite older sister. I love you. And I will talk to you guys later. And if you get a chance, post a comment, share this video, and I will see you next week. Love you guys. Bye.